Hello, students. Welcome to the multiple choice questions of the short story, The Last Lesson, which is written by Alphonse Daudet. So, once you complete the test and check your answers, we will then be discussing each question in detail. Since I'll not be reading the questions, you can read the questions and write the appropriate option in your notebook. You can start with question number 1. Okay, so moving to question numbers 4, 5, and 6. Okay, moving to question 7. Moving to question 10. Next. Moving to question 16. Next. Moving to question 22. Moving to question 25. 28, moving to 31, moving to 34, So I hope you have completed up to question 36. Now you can pause the video and check your answers, and then we are going to discuss each question in detail. So let's move to the first question. Why was Franz in great dread of going to school? So it is in the first line. I started for school very late that morning and I was in great dread of scolding, especially because M. Hamill had said that he would question us on participles. So he would test them and he didn't learn. So that is option B. Why was Franz hurrying to school? So it is already in the first line. I started for school very late that morning. So that is why he was hurrying to school. Why did he consider to spend the day outdoors? So he said, for a moment I thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. It was so warm and bright. So option A is mentioned. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods. So the birds were chirping. So it is option A and C. Why did Franz decide to go to school? So he said, it was all much more tempting than the rule for participles, but I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. So option A, he had the strength to resist the urge to stay outdoors. Who called Franz while he was passing the town hall? Then, as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith watcher who was there with his apprentice reading the bulletin called after me. This is somewhere in the fourth paragraph. What did he see when he passed the town hall? So this answers in the second paragraph. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. So a crowd had gathered in front of the bulletin board. So the next question, what was the significance of the bulletin board? That is again in the second paragraph. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. So it is only bad news, that is why it is option B. Which of these news was not mentioned on the board? The lost battles is mentioned. The draft is mentioned. The orders of the commanding officer is mentioned, which is option A. So appointment of the government is not mentioned. So this is the answer. A is D. What was unusual in the school that day? So this is in the last paragraph of page 167. Usually when school began, there was a great bustle and he's giving 3 options. But now it was all so still. So it was silent and still, which is ninth answer is A. How did Mr. Hamill react when he saw Franz reach the school late? So it is given in the next page. Mr. Hamill saw me and said very kindly, go to your place quickly. So he asked him to go to his place. Which color coat did Mr. Hamill wear on special days? So it is written, I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat. So the next question, when did Mr. Hamill wear the special coat and cap? So it is given that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. So he wore it on inspection and prize days, which is option B. What surprised him in school? So it is given in that same paragraph. But the thing that surprised me most was to see on the back benches that was always empty the village people sitting quietly. So the back benches were occupied. Why were the villagers sitting in the classroom? So that's in page 169. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was no longer theirs. What did the order from Berlin state? So that's in the last paragraph of 168. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. So what did Franz feel when the order from Berlin came? What a thunderclap these words were to me. So he was in a shock. So option C. What did Franz feel about his books? So that's on page 169. They seemed like a nuisance a while ago, but now they were old friends that I couldn't give up. So they were old friends that he could not give up. What was Franz feeling towards his teacher on the last day of his class? So if you see in 169 second paragraph, he says, poor man. So he is also feeling sympathy for him. What did Franz regret when he heard it was his last French class? So this is in 169 first paragraph. My last French lesson. I should never learn any more. I must stop there then. Oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lesson. For seeking birds' eggs or going sliding on the Saar, my books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the saints, were old friends now that I could not give up. So, all three. Why did Mr. Hamill wear his fine clothes today? So that's in the next paragraph. Poor man, it was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes. So, to honor his last day. For how many years did the master teach in the school? So, it was mentioned, right? 40 years of faithful service. So, answer is 40. Why did Mr. Hamill not shout at Franz for not being able to recite the answer? So, he says, right, I won't scold you, little Franz. You must feel bad enough. So, that is option A. He wanted him to feel bad for procrastination. What was the great trouble with Alsace? So that's the great trouble with Alsace. She puts off learning till tomorrow. So putting off learning until tomorrow. Who all does Mr. Hamill blame for not learning? So he blames the parents for sending them to work for some little money. He blames the children for not learning. He also blames himself because he had sent them to water his plants and also gave them holiday. So it is all of the above. So what did the parents do for a little more money? Your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. They preferred to put you to work on farm or at the mills. So option B. Why did Mr. Hamill blame himself? So he says, I have been to blame also. Have I not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lessons? And when I wanted to go fishing, didn't I give you a holiday? Which did Mr. Hamill say was the most beautiful language in the world? Mr. Hamill went on to talk of the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest and the most logical. When people are enslaved, as long as they hold on to their dash, they have the key to their prison. So that is right next to that in page number 170. Because when a person are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. So it is only language, option C. Why did Franz feel that the class was so easy that day? So he says, everything seems so easy. I think too that I have never listened so carefully and that he had never explained everything with so much patience. So both him not listening with so much attention before and the teacher explaining with such patience. That is option C. How emotional was M. Hamill when teaching the kids? The answer is in page 171 in the second paragraph. You could see that he too was crying, his voice trembling with emotion. So it is option D. What did Franz wonder when he saw the pigeons on the roof? So this is on page 170, last line. Will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons? So option C is the answer. What did Mr. Hamill write in the new copies of the books? So that is in the paragraph before that. The day M. Hamel had new copies for us, written in a beautiful round hand. France Alsace, France Alsace. That's what he wrote. What was Mr. Hamel feeling during the last lesson? So it is evident from his crying and being so emotional that he was emotional and sad. How did Mr. Hamel describe the French language? So that's in second paragraph of 170. The clearest and the most logical. Option A. What did Mr. Hamel do when he could not speak and felt choked? So that is on page 171, second last paragraph. He then turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, he wrote as large as he could, Vive la France. So he wrote on the board, Vive la France. What is the main theme of the story? So he definitely talks about the importance of language, how important their French language was, and also not to do procrastination, because they said they would learn later, but they couldn't do that anymore. And we should not take our freedom for granted, because we don't know when it will be snatched away from us. So the answer is all of the above. So I hope you enjoyed doing these multiple choice questions as much as I enjoyed preparing it for you. Please like, share and subscribe so I will know that you really enjoy my content. All the very best, study well, and I'm proud of each one of you. Thank you so much.